Morning News with Trey Ware, now on FM 107.1.
You know, it is interesting to hear so much of the Democratic rhetoric that government controlling your health care is always justified by saying the insurance companies are terrible. Now, this is an example of what John Adams famously said, facts are stubborn things. Let's talk about some facts. In 2008, the 10 largest insurance companies in America made just over $8 billion profit. In 2015, those same 10 largest companies made $15 billion in profit.
Wow.
Insurance company profits have doubled.
Yeah. That's because the system was rigged under Obamacare to hand it all to them and take the sovereignty away from the individual. And what you saw, CNN stage a couple of nights ago, was one guy who believes in the sovereignty of the individual. And another guy who says, no, bigger government. He's that bigger government's the answer. Well, that's what we got to have is more government. And so it was very clear and very plain. And my man and my friend and my Senator Ted Cruz is joining me on the Stevens Roofing Newsmaker Hotline. And, sir, you did a fantastic job against Bernie Sanders the other night.
Well, Trey, thank you very much. I got to say, that's a heck of an impression. I was having flashbacks.
Did it freak you out for a minute? Did you think he was on the phone?
Do you have the hair as well? Do you have all look down of Bernie?
No, I can't say that I do have that all down yet. One of these days I may be as gray as him, though. So, yeah, I mean, this is unambiguous. This is very, very clear. One side, your side, my side, we want to restore the sovereignty of the individual, put the power back in the hands of people. They don't want to take more power away and put it in the hands of the state.
Trey, that's exactly right. It's a fundamental choice of philosophy. And after 6 years, the American people have seen firsthand Obamacare, it isn't working. It is a failed system. It's why we had an overwhelming victory in November. It's why we had landslide elections in 2010 and 2014. Because if you look at people across this country, Obamacare was built on three fundamental lies. Number one, President Obama said, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. PolitiFact, a left-leaning outlet, labeled that the lie of the year in 2013 because now over 6 million Americans have had their plans canceled against their wills. Obama likewise said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That equally proved to be a lie. And finally, Obama promised that Obamacare was going to cut the average family's premiums by $2,500 a year. That proved not just to be a lie, but a screaming out-of-the-park lie. Today, the average family's premiums have increased by about $5,000. And not only that, your deductibles, the average deductibles, have gone up $5,000 as well. So right now, you're paying higher premiums for lousier coverage with higher deductibles, fewer doctors, and a smaller network. That's why people are ticked, because the government is messing with their health care, and your health care is all about your ability to care for yourself and your family.
I always believed that they did that on purpose because they wanted to collapse the private market so government could take over.
Well, and listen, that's where Bernie Sanders is that he wants to see socialized medicine. He wants to see the government control medicine. And the basic philosophical divide is between Bernie Sanders and the Democrats, who want government to control your health care, and my view and the view of most Texans, which is that you should control your health care. You and your doctor should make health care decisions for you, for your family. It shouldn't be the government, but you should have choice and competition, and you should have the access to low-cost, affordable health insurance that is portable, that travels with you from job to job, that you don't lose when you lose your job.
Senator Ted Cruz is joining me. Trey Ware here on KTSA. So I have to get your opinion on what's happening right now with the Ninth Circuit. We anticipate that there will be a decision maybe as soon as today on this. I've gone through the different statutes. You are a constitutional lawyer, attorney. I'm not. I'm just a layman out here. But as I read this, a layman can understand the sovereign authority on this matter rests with the president.
Well, as a legal matter, this is straightforward. It ought to be a very simple case. Congress has passed statutes signed into law that give the president almost blanket authority over questions of refugees and many immigration questions, and in particular, give the president blanket authority to exclude any class of aliens who, in his judgment, pose a threat to the national security of this country. That's black-letter law. So the legal question, can President Trump do what he did, which is impose a reasonable, common-sense 4-month pause in refugees because the FBI has said that we can't vet the refugees to determine whether or not they're ISIS terrorists? The answer is, of course, he can. Now, unfortunately, this lawsuit was filed out in Washington State, and they found an activist judge who imposed an order. And by the way, the order that the trial judge imposed, the standard, one of the elements of imposing that order is that you have to demonstrate that the plaintiffs have a likelihood of success on the merits. Trial judge wrote one sentence, just said, I find that is met with no reasoning, no analysis, no law, no facts, just decreed it. That's lawless. That's being an activist. That's not doing your job as a judge. Now, here's the bad news. They appealed to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is the most liberal federal court of appeals in the country. It's been that way for decades. But after 8 years of Obama, it's even worse. So I'll confess, I'm not optimistic about this Court of Appeals ruling. The Ninth Circuit for a long time has been much more a politically liberal institution than an actual court that follows the law. If they follow the law, the answer should be easy, but I'm not optimistic as to what the Ninth Circuit's going to say.
The statute also says, Senator, the plenary power, which is absolute, of course, that rests with the president. So the courts have no say in this matter. The problem I see with this is we are going to subject the President of the United States in the matters that the President is sworn to, and that is protecting the borders of the United States, protecting the sovereignty of our nation. That's what he swears to. We're going to subject those decisions now to the courts across this country.
Well, that's right, and one of the consequences is while this litigation is ongoing, I'm confident that the core of the president's order is going to be upheld. You know, another federal judge in Boston issued a decision assessing these very same questions, and the federal judge in Boston wrote a serious, careful opinion upholding the order. The contrast is night and day. The judge in Washington had no analysis, no facts, no law. The judge that actually analyzed the facts and law concluded the obvious answer is the president has this authority. In time, this litigation will work its way out. It probably will have to go to the Supreme Court. And you know, while it's being tied up in litigation, and it's Democratic politicians who have brought this litigation, while that's happening, we're going to have refugees coming to this country who may well be, like the terrorists who came to Europe and carried out the Paris attacks. We may have ISIS terrorists coming into this country, and innocent Americans may die as a result of this litigation. This is not, we're not playing games here. These are very bad people who want to kill us and have said they intend to exploit the refugee program to do it. And that is not the role of the judiciary, to be subjecting us to the risk of terror.
Chatham House is out with a new poll this morning, and the people in Europe are begging for this kind of ban. And in fact, they want an all-out ban from all the countries because they don't want any more of what they've been subjected to. Sir, I'm going to let you go, but I got to tell you, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for upholding liberty for all of us. Please keep it up.
Well, thank you, Trey, and it is an honor and a privilege every day to represent the great people of the state of Texas, the greatest state on the face of the planet.
We'll talk to you again very soon, sir.
Great.
Thank you. That is Senator Ted Cruz joining me here on 550 KTSA and FM.